Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 17 of What If Naruto Pushed Himself to His Limit. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also stay tuned for What If Naruto Had Divine Powers. And I also post a new episode of What If Naruto Was Born in the Uzumaki clan, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And later on I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Was the Akatsuki King, so stay tuned for that and I hope you guys do enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last part we left off, it was the finals of Chunin exams, as all the matches were wrapping up. As Naruto saw how strong the Kira team were. If it wasn't for his training of Udon and Konoha, they would be having a tough chance going through this exam. After a while, the exams came to an end with only Udon and Akira being promoted to Chunin, as Konoha and the others just strive, as Konoha and Ichigo became rivals to beat each other and to see which one of them will become Chunin first. Sometime after that, Tsunade was interrupted as she was about to drink some Seikuen Danzo and the three elders appear. As they talk about recent discussion and find out that the Akatsuki is after Naruto, they want to put better protection on him. As Tsunade agreed to that because she knew that Danzo used one of his flunkies, one of his roots, and if Naruto could get to that person, perhaps they could gain some information on his route and get some solid evidence. Some time passed as Naruto was feeling lonely, seeing that the girls were gone now. As he met up with Shikamaru and Ino, as Ino was there because she wanted to hear everything. She wanted to hear it right from the horse's mouth. She heard that he was dating the Mizukage and another girl from Kumo, and she wanted to know. As her father informed her about the CRA, and she tried to get with Naruto but he played everything off. As she was sad hearing that now. They were then attacked as Naruto saw the attacker. As Sai was surprised when Naruto brought down his sword, the ground cracked on their side as Naruto kicked him away and sent him smashing into a wall. As Sai simply vanished, he informed this to Danzo. As Naruto wondered if this was one of Danzo's lucky, why would he send him out in the open like that? Some time later, Shibuki was in his office when his village started to shake as one of his subordinates ran in. It seemed that the village, Taki, was being attacked. As Kisame and Itachi came for food, seeing that it was urgent Kakazo and Hidan's job, but they're out of commission by Naruto killing them, as Kisame is going to make the distraction while Itachi got the girl. As Shibuki sent one of his fastest hawks to Konoha. Some time later, Tsunade got the note, as she cursed she couldn't allow any one of them to get any Jinchurikis. And the only person right now that can probably go up against S-rank Shizune, she called, and she told Shizune to get Naruto. But Shizune was worried, as she told her that Naruto will be fine. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the page and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say we begin the new episode? Naruto was currently in his kitchen as he was eating breakfast, as he thought about his day. Maybe he should go and get a mission or see if one of his friends wanted to spar. As he was eating, there was a ring, signifying that someone was at the gate. Walking outside, he moved and unlocked the gate, seeing that it was Shizune, as he saw a look on her face. Shizune-san, what's the problem? Tsunade-sama has a mission for you, she huffed. Akatsuki. Hearing that, Naruto's eyes widened as he grabbed Shizune and disappeared in a swirl of leaf. Meanwhile, Itachi dashed through the streets, the empty streets, because Kisame was drawing all the attention as he was moving towards the hideout. If the Akatsuki information was correct, This is where the Nanabe was hidden. A simple genjutsu surrounded him, making him invisible to the naked eye as he moved. Seeing that he was on the opposite side of the village from where Kisame battle was going on, it wasn't much, seeing that no one was here. As Itachi came upon a large dome structure, he had to jump away dodging several beetles as he looked up to see Fu glaring down at him as she was standing right on top of the dome. I figured that the Akatsuki would come here for me, Fu said. I should have realized it wouldn't matter if I was in a village or not. Come with me and we will not harm this village any more than we already have. Fu's eyes narrowed. What makes you think I'll ever come with you, she said. I know what you want to do with me, and I have no intention of dying because you want Nanabe. As she said that, a swarm of bugs swooped in on Itachi. He went through hands and released a large fireball. The moment he did that, Fu came crashing out of the sky as he had to jump. The girl's strength was truly impressive. The entire ground was rooted up. But Itachi kept his calm demeanor. Meanwhile, Naruto flashed in the office as he saw that Kakashi and Sakura was already there, as he was along with Chizune. As he realized that pale boy that attacked him the day before was there as well, but he decided to ignore that for now. You called Tsunade-sama, Naruto said, using a respectful suffix. Yes, she said, we have just received message from Taki. Akatsuki is attacking them to retrieve the Nanabe Jinchuriki Fu. And you four are going to... Four, Naruto said, cutting her off. You mean he's on my team, he asked. Yes, Tsunade said, this is Sai. He will be working with you for the foreseeable future. I see, Naruto said. Danzo is beginning to see me as a threat. He wants someone to watch me. He then thought out loud. Very well. So do we know which member of the Akatsuki is attacking? The description that we were given in matched Kisame, said Tsunade, and Itachi Naruto asked. He was not in the report, said Tsunade. It was just a distraction, Naruto thought. Kisame was drawing them out while Itachi go and get Fu. Naruto, you will be in charge of this mission, seeing that you have the most experience when dealing with the Akatsuki members. Naruto nodded. As he turned to his team, I want you three to prepare for a S-rank mission. You have 1 hour to get your equipment and meet me at the eastern gate. Kakashi and Sakura nodded as they were surprised by Naruto's sudden commanding presence. As Sai merely gave Naruto a smile, we will be there. It will be a pleasure working with a dickless wonder like you. Naruto's eyebrow twitched. He couldn't kill this guy, but he had a mission to prepare for. Time skip. Alright, so who wants to be the next victim? Defeat Samehata, said Kisame, as a lot of dead Taki ninjas were around him. As the ninjas tensed up. I am not going to let you get away with this. Kisame turned to see Shibuki, and you're not going to touch my sister. If you say so, brat. But I think it would be best if you back up your words with action. Shibuki said nothing as he dashed toward Kisame as he went through hand sign. A large water dragon came from the lake as it launched itself at Kisame. Kisame simply brought Samehata down as he smashed it right in the water dragon, breaking it apart and absorbing some of the excess chakra. As he dashed on top of the water, he swings Samehata at Shibuki, but Shibuki dashed towards the side. As Shibuki pulled a kunai and thrust it towards Kisame, Kisame brought Samehata up to block it. As Shibuki took this as his chance, he dashed forward, but he was sadly mistaken as Kisame's feet crashed into his stomach that sent the man flying away. Shibuki flipped several times in mid-air as he landed on the ground, as he placed his hand on his ribs. Luckily, he didn't feel anything broken. As he stand up to see Kisame going through a set of hand signs before calling out his jutsu, a giant vortex of water shot up right in front of Kisame as it dived straight towards Shibuki. As the man had to roll out of the way, he blinked twice when he noticed Kisame was no longer there, as he heard a small chuckle behind him. Too slow. Shibuki pulled a kunai as fast as he could as he thrust it upwards. But Kisame crashed his knee right into Shibuki's gut as the man coughed up blood. He skid across the water. He tried to get back up, but he collapsed on one knee, holding his stomach. You're not too bad, but you're about 50 years too soon to beat me, said Kisame. Shibuki cursed as pain racked his body. Despite all the training that he has done, he could not defeat this man. A thought came into his mind, he could use that, but the consequences were grave. It didn't matter now, he had to protect his home. He reached into his pocket as he pulled out a vial. It was a small sample of the hero's water. As he drank the vial, and then threw it away, his chakra exploded out of him. pure raw chakra 10 times what it was. Kisame stopped. He was not that concerned, but the boy's chakra has grown a lot. It was nearing his level. But it doesn't matter, he can use Samehata to absorb it. Still, the fight should be much more interesting now, Kisame thought. Meanwhile, Naruto and his group finally arrive. As they reach a large waterfall, Naruto had told them to keep up or they will be left behind. Sakura was the only one who found it hard to keep up. Still, despite how strong she has gotten, she's still a Chunin, and Naruto was incredibly fast. As Naruto extended his chakra to his ear, it sounded like the battle is still going on, meaning they have not managed to capture food yet. Currently, from the information we got from Taki, Kisame is the only one fighting. He is most likely a disturbant, while Itachi take on Fu. Wait, said Sakura. Itachi, isn't he? He's the one that Sasuke want to kill, said Naruto. Itachi Uchiha. Now, Kakashi and Sai, I want the both of you to engage Kisame and keep him from causing any more damage. Sakura, I want you to help heal the wounded. That you find, since you're more suitable for the support role and will be needed to keep Kakashi and Sai from getting hurt. Meanwhile, I'm going to find Itachi and deal with him. Hopefully, we can dispose of both of them, but as long as they don't get their hand on Jinchuriki, we should be fine. Are you sure you can handle Itachi on your own, Naruto? Kakashi asked in a worried tone. I mean, I know you've gotten powerful, but... Don't worry about me, Kakashi. I know my limits. I am positive if you come down to it, I can beat Itachi. I don't see how someone lacking a penis can fight a S-rank criminal, Sai said, with a fake smile. As Naruto glared at Sai, this boy has been nothing but trouble since they met, and that weird smile on his face. Not to mention, he has mentioned about Naruto thing at least 6 times when he was speaking, saying that Naruto doesn't have one. Yeah, he was so lucky they were on a mission right now. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that, so I don't kill you, Naruto said. He then turned to Kakashi. You're in charge until I get back. Don't get yourself killed. As he vanished. You heard the man, said Kakashi. Sai and I will go first. Sakura, you come in after us, and when we have Kisame fully engaged, I want you to help the wounded. Got it, Kakashi-sensei, said Sakura, as Sai nodded. Meanwhile, Shibuki was on his knees, as he threw everything he can at the sharp man. But the man was still walking towards him. Nothing worked. Well, that was actually quite fun, said Kisame. It's a shame I gotta kill you now. Though, it looks like you're gonna die anyway. An effect of the hero's water. Kisame even heard something as he quickly jumped away. As a lightning blade nearly tear right through him, landed in the water, Kakashi bent his body as he flipped over, as he thrust his hand covered in lightning forward. But Kisame clashed it with Samehata, as Samehata absorbed the jutsu, as Kakashi jumped away. Well, if it isn't the copy ninja Kakashi of the Sharingan, said Kisame. You managed to get here quite fast. Really, said Kakashi. That's too bad, I was hoping to use my latest excuse for being tardy. I hope you give me a challenge than what I've been getting so far, said Kisame, ignoring Kakashi's words. Well, I suppose since I'm here I might as well, said Kakashi. Kisame had to twist his body around though and smash Samehata into several ink lines as the ink covered his body. Kakashi quickly speed through Hansa and released a large, massive flames towards Kisame. But Kisame speed through Hansa as he created a large water ball around himself, blocking the huge fireball as it hissed in steam. As the ball of water dropped to reveal no one, as Kakashi looked around, he had to jump away as Kisame burst from the ground, clashing Samehata against his kunai. As Kisame dived back straight down to the water and flew back up at tremendous speed as Kakashi twisted his body to dodge, Samehata nearly taking off his head. The moment Kisame dived back underneath, Kakashi went through Hansign as a stone platform was created that Kakashi stood on. As another Kakashi appeared on top of the water and placed his hand down, a pulse of electricity was released in the water as it shocked Kisame. Kisame fight through the pain as he went through several hand signs. Several water shocks came from it as he smashed right into the earth column, making Kakashi fall. As Kisame smashed Samehata right into him, but he poofed away. Shibuki was on land watching the fight. He felt something next to him as he turned to see Sakura landed. Shibuki. As he looked up to see the pink-haired girl that was with Naruto doing Suyen betrayal. Sakura-san, he said. As he then winced in pain, the hero water was taking its toll on him. Sakura instantly scanned him. As his chakra pathway they were shutting down. They were breaking down. As she quickly got out her medical supplies. As she pulled out some food pill. Here, take this, she said. As he looked at it and then ate it. As the pills taste really bad, but he had to go through it. As Sakura pumped her chakra into his coils, stopping them from closing up, while the pills did their work. Meanwhile, Itachi looked at Fu fallen form, which were burned up, and had numerous cuts and bruises. The area of the landscape was completely destroyed. It was from her insane strength. The battle was a lot harder than he had anticipated. Due to the use of her bugs, his greatest advantage has been negated. His genjutsu, seeing that the bugs would dispel his genjutsu before they could even set in. Also, he could not kill her, so he could not use his Amaterasu. But this forced him to use taijutsu and ninjutsu. But he still won, even though with little injury. He walked over to Fu and was about to lift her up when he had to dodge a hail of kunai. You know, I was wondering when we were going to meet again. Itachi turned. It is good to see you again, Naruto-kun, he said. As he looked at Naruto with that emotionless mask. I hear you've gotten a lot stronger. Naruto took off his trench coat, knowing that he needs speed to beat the Sharingan. One does not train the Sannin and does not learn anything. In any case, I'm here to make sure that you don't touch Fu. I see, said Itachi. The both of them looked at each other as a single tree. Release one leaf as it fall. With that, the both of them started as Naruto released hail of kunais and shurikens. Itachi blocked some of them, but he had to jump on a building. As Naruto launched several more shurikens, this time focusing wind chakra into them. Itachi threw some shurikens himself, but he had to dodge as his weapon got sliced in half by Naruto's. Itachi quickly looked up as he braced himself as he blocked, but Naruto kick smashed into his defense, and he was still sent skidded back from the force. Itachi then materialized into birds. Realizing quickly, Naruto flared his chakra as he break the genjutsu. Naruto brought up his hand blocking Itachi's strike, who was right next to him. As Naruto spun around the fist as Itachi ducked under it and tried to punch him in the stomach. Naruto twisted his body around as he swung his elbow right in Itachi's face. Itachi quickly flipped back as he landed and went through several hand signs. As he fired out a large fire dragon towards Naruto. As Naruto went through hand sign, as a large water dragon was created, both jutsus collide right into each other as steam filled the area. Itachi looks through the smoke, prepared for anything, but a pale blast of lightning shot right through it at tremendous speed. A quick use of substitution got away, but the next second later as he appeared, Naruto was in front of him as Naruto drive his blade right through Itachi. But Itachi poofed away. A large ball of fire came at Naruto from above. With his speed, he was able to dodge. As Naruto raised his hand, Bikurai, as a bolt of lightning fly and pierced right through Itachi, but he burst into a flock of crows once more. As Itachi flashed behind Naruto with a kunai at his throat. You have grown quite strong, Naruto, but you are still not at my level yet. Give up. Naruto simply smirked as he exploded. Itachi was barely able to use the substitution to escape, but Naruto was already waiting for him. Release. Naruto released half of the restriction seals and the gravity seals on his body. Half of them, as he felt at least 100 pounds lighter. As Naruto thrust out at Itachi to grab his throat. Itachi tilted his head, but he wasn't expecting Naruto to drive his head forward as he smashed his head right in Itachi's face as blood leaked from Itachi's nose. Naruto then swung two fists towards Itachi's face. Itachi ducked the first and dodged the second, but then a feet connected right under his chin as Itachi was knocked straight up into the air as Naruto went through hand sign as he sucked in a deep breath and then slammed his gut as a condensed ball of wind headed straight towards Itachi. Itachi went through several hand signs as well as he took in a deep breath as he released a large fireball. A clone Naruto appeared right under the fireball as he fired off a wind bullet. With the two wind bullets hitting right into it, it expanded as it exploded with a gust of pure wind and flames in mid-air. Before he could take on Itachi though, he vanished. Naruto quickly spun around his body to block the oncoming kick as he grabbed Itachi's foot and spinned him around as he sent him flying on his back. Itachi flipped in mid-air as he landed gracefully. Itachi fired off several fireballs towards Naruto. Naruto's cheeks got puffed as he fired off several water bullets. As steam filled the area, Itachi burst out of the steam with a blade in his hand as Naruto unsheathed his blade as they clashed against each other. Sparks were sent everywhere as Naruto pushed the blade over his head and snapped a kick at Itachi midsection. Itachi lifted his leg, making his shin take the hit, but Naruto smirked when he saw that wince came on Itachi's face, his face that was always emotionless. Itachi pulled back his blade and then thrust forward again to impale Naruto, but Naruto redirected to his right as he closed the distance and smashed the elbow right in Itachi's face, but Itachi disappeared in a swirl of flower petals. When did he get me that genjutsu, Naruto thought as he dispelled it. Itachi appeared behind him and thrust his sword, but Naruto redirected over his head. With their blades locked, Naruto used one hand as he thrust his other fist at Itachi's face. Itachi tilted his head, but a wind magnet punch was right beside the original fist. The wind blow smashed right into Itachi as he was sent sailing away. He picked himself up, but then everything went dark. For a second, Itachi gained fear in him, as all Uchiha fear this, to not be able to see, to go blind. With his Sharingan active, but he knew that this was a genjutsu. Release, as Naruto was upon him in a second and impaled him, but Naruto impaled a log. Naruto had to quickly spin around as a fireball was coming towards him. Pulling a kunai, he thrust it forward as the fireball was sucked away. As Itachi never knew that Naruto had come along that far with the Hiroshin. A whistling noise snapped him back to attention as he looked up to see another 3-pronged kunai coming down towards him. Jumping back, he let it fall to the ground, but he had to switch with a log as the fireball he released earlier came out of it as it engulfed the area. Itachi appeared on one of the buildings, his breathing a bit heavier than before. It seems you have gotten strong. Unfortunately, I don't have time to test my strength against you. You mean that you no longer can, Naruto said. You're too low on chakra to do anything rather than the academy basic jutsu. From my estimation, you already used 1/4 of your chakra to fight Fu. I came in fresh and have far more chakra than you, even at full strength. Your genjutsu do not work on me anymore, and only the Tsukuyomi will have a true effect. As Itachi's small frown said it all, as he could not fight anymore, and Naruto has a lot of chakra remaining. It doesn't matter anyways. As Naruto pointed, Itachi looked over and saw that Fu was gone. Damn it, he must have had a clone take her away. He truly has gotten stronger. So I see. I doubt torture will make you tell me where she is. That is if you can torture me, Naruto said. We both know you can't use Tsukuyomi right now. And we do know the damage it does to your vision. It seems you have gotten stronger. You're correct. I cannot win right now. His Sharingan then morphed into the Mangeto Sharingan as blood leaked from it. Amaterasu. Naruto quickly pulled out that scroll as the black flame was sucked into a scroll that glowed brightly before dying down. As Naruto looked, Itachi was gone. As a clone then arrived beside him out of the building with the unconscious Fu over his shoulder. Meanwhile, Kisame had a grin on his face. He had several burn marks and several close calls from Kakashi's lightning blade, but he was still fighting. The fight is just beginning. Don't think this is over. I haven't even gotten started yet. Itachi then flashed beside Kisame. Kisame, this battle has become unfavorable. It seems that we will have to re-evaluate Naruto Namikaze's strength. The blonde kid is here as well. Well damn, if I had known that, I wouldn't have wasted time with these two. It matters not, said Itachi. We need to leave or at a disadvantage. Kisame sighed. He saw the blood leaking from Itachi's eye as he placed Same hat on his back as he went through hand sign. Water style. Giant tidal wave jutsu. A large tidal wave came crashing down on them, but they all got away. As they landed on the large tree in the center of the village, as the wave crashed right into it, shaking the foundation of the tree before settling down. As Kakashi looked over to see, the two of them had disappeared. As they jumped back down on the ground. As Kakashi and Sai walked over to make sure that everything was okay. A little while later, Naruto appeared, as he had Fu in his arms. Wow, Shibuki, you look like shit. Yeah, well, I feel. Shibuki stopped as he looked over, facing the person. Naruto? He then noticed. Is she? Don't worry, she's fine, Naruto said. They needed Jinchuriki alive in order to take the Bijou. She's just unconscious, that's all. Shibuki signed relief, that's good. He looked over at Naruto, I'm surprised how fast you got here. Naruto grinned as he placed a hand behind his head, but before he could answer, Sakura did it for him. That is because he set a ridiculous pace. He claimed if one of us fell behind, we should go home. Well, consider it training, Naruto said. Well, anyway, we better get you and Sleeping Beauty here to the hospital. As he looked around, them as well, he said. You think? Said Shibuki. Moments later, Fu's eyes snapped open as she looked around. She would have not been alive if the Akatsuki had captured her. She heard her brother's voice coming from the other room. As she walked over to the wall, Shibuki, you know this is the best option. As she wondered whose voice is that, as she decided to go to Shibuki's room. Shibuki looked at Naruto. I'm not going to let my sister get taken away. I spent too much effort to keep her from being exiled or give her to the Akatsuki. I can't just let you take her back to Konoha. And what happened if they attacks again? Asked Naruto, giving Shibuki a frustrated look. We might not be able to get here in time. Or what if they decide to send just more than 2 members? Your village will be in even more danger. I'm not saying exile her. After the threat of Akatsuki has been dealt with, she'll come right back. It has been at least 23 hours. As Shibuki was currently lying on the bed, several bandages wrapped around him from his fight with Kisame. As Naruto was sitting down a little ways away, as he had a determined expression on his face, he knew that Shibuki did not want his sister away from him, but it would keep her safe and it was actually good for her. Like him, she was actually also hated by everyone in her village. But unlike him, she still had it bad. She was still hated by everyone. Because of this, Shibuki was quite protective of her. He was actually the only one she would talk to. Because of the hatred she has suffered, Naruto has heard that Fu hates most of humanity. That was another reason Naruto felt that she must come with him. If she stayed here, she will continue to hate humanity and cut herself off from the rest of the world. Shibuki was about to say something when a voice spoke. What is going on, Shibuki? The two turned as Shibuki looked over. Fu, how are you feeling? He asked. Fu stepped into the room as she narrowed her eyes at Naruto. Alright, she said. I'm not sore or anything anymore. What is going on? What are you two talking about? Shibuki was about to say something but Naruto cut him off. Akatsuki came to take you. You got into a fight with Itachi and lost. Fu scowled a bit at Naruto's rather blunt statement, even though it was true no one liked their fault being showed out like that. Naruto either didn't notice or didn't care as he continued. Shibuki had sent Konoha a message and Hokage sent us here. I found Itachi about to take you and battle him, eventually forcing him to retreat. As Naruto saw the emotions play across her face, fear of almost being caught, a mixture of gratitude and awareness of him saving her. And as for what we were talking about, I think it would be a good idea for you to come and live with me in Konoha until Akatsuki has been taken care of. Fu's eyes widened. You want me to come to Konoha? As Naruto nodded. Why? She asked. Because this time you were lucky enough I was not on a mission, Naruto said. Right now only myself and Jiraiya are capable of fighting any S-class criminals due to our freedom from any serious duties. The only other people that can battle them on equal grounds are the Kages, and they are stuck to their decks most of the time. If I was not available, Konoha would have unable to send any aid, and you would have been captured. Both Shibuki and Fu winked at that, but it was 100% true. That is why I believe coming to Konoha with us will be much beneficial. It will be easier to protect you that way as well. Why would you do this? Fu asked. I know who you are and that you're considered a hero here for what you did to help my brother. But you know what I am, so why would you? She started to blush and Naruto took off his armor and lifted up his shirt. But her eyes went wide when he pumped chakra into his stomach and saw the seal. It's because I'm just like you, Naruto said. Like you, I was hated for most of my life. Hell, it was just recently once my heritage was revealed as the 4th Hokage's son. It was then some people started to act differently and respect me. But some of them still hate me, but they try to act better because who my father is. As Naruto put his shirt back down and put the armor on. Plus, I think it will do you good to get out of a village that hates you. As the two started to think, right now she was hated by almost everyone here. The only solace she had was when she went on missions and she went to different towns. Fu looked at Naruto as she tilted her head to the side like she was trying to solve a puzzle. If I went with you, people would find out about my status eventually and they would still hate me. No, they wouldn't, Naruto said. I am well known by now as a Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. Sure, some of the older generation might hate you, but the younger generation will look up to you. Fu gained a thoughtful look. It also means you will be protected by myself, Jiraiya, and Tsunade, 3 S-rank ninjas. Shibuki was sad as he looked at Fu, as he did not want her to go, but in the end it was her decision, and he will support her. After a few minutes of silence, she spoke. If this is the best way to deal with Akatsuki, then I'll go with you. Naruto nodded. We're going to stay here for a few days. While Sakura healed the injured, and then we're going to leave. Fu nodded, as Naruto left the room to give them some time alone. Are you sure this is what you want, Fu? Asked Shibuki. Yes. I don't want to be looked down on and hated more. If what you said is true, then I understand, said Shibuki. If this is what you want, I support you 100%. Thank you, brother, she said. Moments later, Naruto spotted Sai, as he was painting a picture of a tree. That's a good painting, Naruto said, as Sai had snapped around, as Naruto saw a brief, surprised look in the boy's eyes. So he's not an emotionless puppet after all. After a moment, he gave Naruto a fake smile. What can I do for you, dickless? As Naruto's eyebrow twitched, we're going to have to work on your etiquette. Also, can you stop talking about that? I don't swing that way. I do not know what you're talking about, said Sai. I was merely commenting on what I have observed from observation. Whatever, Naruto said. So you like to paint? Sai shrugged. I'm not sure. What do you mean you're not sure, Naruto said. You either do or you either don't. That is just it, I'm not sure, said Sai, as he returned back to painting. As Naruto sighed at how frustrating Sai was being. If this is what Danzo do to his man, then he was glad that he didn't get his hands on him. So, you got a name for that painting, Naruto asked, as he sat down. Sai blinked. No, he said. Well, that's no good, Naruto said. Every great masterpiece have to have a name, otherwise it's not memorable. Maybe, said Sai. I had never been good with names, I tried before, but every time I try to think of one, it isn't really good. Naruto nodded as he realized Danzo was probably stunned most of this side, which rely on emotion. Well, I guess you just have to let them come to you, said Naruto. What would you name it, Sai asked, a bit curious. To be honest, I don't know, Naruto said. I'm not an artist, and I've never been good at naming things. Hell, even my jutsu's names suck. My emotions are felt in a different way than creating art. Emotions? I don't have any emotions, I said. Not at all? Don't you feel something when you create a work like this? No, I feel nothing, Sai said. You're lying, Naruto says he stood up. Sai had snapped up at him. Then why else would you paint? I know for a fact that your master Danzo would not let you have an outlet to put out your feelings, and painting is one of those outlets. I think deep down you do feel emotions, but they're buried so far underneath. It's hard for you to feel them. Well, whatever, it's none of my business, I guess. Just make sure you're ready to leave 3 days from now. Time skip. So you're telling me that you failed to capture the Nanabi Jinchuriki paint axe, the holographic figure of Itachi? Yes, it seems they managed to request aid from Konoha. They came faster than expected and I was forced to fight Naruto and Mikaze. From what I understand, the Nanabi Jinchuriki is now in Konoha under his protection. It seems the kid has gotten really strong to be able to force Itachi to retreat, Kisame said, as a smirk came on his face. Makes me wish I had thought it myself. To be so strong, he must be a good boy, Toby yelled. That means he's like me. Toby's a good boy, he yelled. Toby, shut the hell up, Deidara said. How many times have I told you not be so annoying? Oops, sorry Deidara senpai, Toby said in an embarrassing voice as he rubbed back of his head. Pain closed his eyes. That boy was causing much more trouble than he was worth. He will need to be dealt with soon. I will think on this new development. You're all dismissed, he said. The images fade out, leaving only Pain, Conan, and Toby left. That boy is causing more trouble than his father, said Toby in his dark voice now. Replaced with Madara, he was no longer acting like a fool. Should we send the Akatsuki after him, Pain asked. No. At the moment it requires much more power than we currently have, since it means going up against Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Konoha itself. I wish to concentrate our efforts on the other Jinchurikis. Send Itachi and Kisame after Yanbai. He has been spotted in Sukinokune. Deidara and I will go after Gobi. He has been spotted in the land of Fangs. Also, What is the news about Sasuke? He is still under Orochimaru guard, said Pain. However, the snake has yet to try and use his immortality jutsu on him. Good, said Madara. I am in need of Sasuke Sharingan and can't have an Orochimaru get his hands on it. We have had many failures lately, Pain. I expect them to be rectified soon. And with that, Madara faded out. Pain scowled as Madara disappeared, as he didn't like how this man was trying to order him around. But right now, he will hold himself until they gather all what they need. And once that is done, he will feel the power of a god, as Pain faded out as well, leaving Konoha alone. She would have to tell Naruto about these new developments soon. At Konoha, Fu listened as Naruto told her a bit about Konoha. Moments later, Tsunade-sama, Naruto-kun has returned from his mission, said Shizune. As they all went in, as Tsunade looked up to see the 4 ninjas that he sent, and the new arrival. Report, she said. Naruto nodded as he explained what happened. After that, Tsunade looked at the green-haired girl, who seemed slightly unsure for herself now that she was here, in the village. I suppose she will be staying in the Namikaze compound then, asked Tsunade. Yes, said Naruto. Very well, I'll be expecting a written report tomorrow, said Tsunade. Come on, said Naruto. We'll get you situated in your new home for the time being, and then I'll show you around Konoha. Fu nodded as she left with him as everyone else did, leaving Kakashi in the room. So, how did he do? He did extremely well. He was able to pick up what was going on in Taki before we even reached there. He also utilized and created a plan that was well suitable for the team. Do you think he's ready for promotion to full Jonin? Yes, but just make him take a few more missions before giving him Jonin status. Thank you, you're dismissed. Kakashi pulled out his book as he left. Moments later, Fu sighed as she finished placing all of her clothing on a drawer. As she looked around the place, it was nice. Way nicer than my terrible apartment back home, she said to herself. The place reminded her of a few of the tales that she read about the daimyo's palace. As everything was placed away, she nodded. She walked outside to see Naruto stepping out of her room. Hey, you got your stuff all put away? As she nodded. As he noticed a small frown on her face. Miss your home? He asked. Not really, she said. I was always hated there for what I held. Forced to go under a harsh training regime. To harness Anabi's power. Send on suicide mission afterwards. And when I returned, they treated me like crap. Naruto nodded in understanding. The life of a Jinchuriki is never easy. Come on, how about I show you around, and we can go and get something to eat. Fu looked at him, he was being so nice. But he was also a Jinchuriki. Okay, she said. Great, said Naruto. I know the perfect place. Moments later. Old man, some Miss Ramen for me and my friend here, he said. As the old man and his daughter came around. Oh well, Naruto, it's good to see you. And who's your friend, the old man said as he held up a pinky and wiggled it. Fu felt a large blush spread across her face. As Naruto chuckled. Not like that, Naruto said. She's staying here from Taki until all this Red Cloud business is taken care of. I offered her a place to stay until then. The old man nodded. Alright then, your miss will be coming right up. Meanwhile, that was going on. I see, said Danzo, listening to Sai's report. If what Sai said was true, Naruto was able to force Itachi into a retreat. He was quite powerful indeed. However, there was another piece of information that intrigued him. The Nanabi Jinchuriki was here. And wipe that stupid smile off your face, said Danzo. Yes, Danzo-sama, said Sai. She's staying at Namikaze's estate, under Namikaze's stand protection. Sai then looked up, as his smile was back, and I was told that a smile is the best way to get in people's hearts. Danzo simply ignored Sai for now, as he tried to come up with a new plan. If he could somehow get the Nanabi under his control, well, the Namikaze will still be a problem. Danzo-sama, said Sai. I would like to request to stay with Namikaze-sama as a member of his team. Danzo was shocked for a few seconds. Sai had never requested anything before, and him doing it now made Danzo wonder what was going through his mind. Very well, I will allow it. Danzo was too arrogant to believe that a shinobi he trained can switch or do anything against him, so he didn't really care. Time skip. Yujiro cursed as she and the last member of her team was running, jumping through the trees at a fast pace. The mission she was on, it went wrong. They were supposed to meet one of Jiraiya's spies to get information on Orochimaru, but they were ambushed. Several dozen sound ninjas were waiting for her and her squad. Whether they had been killed or betrayed, it was no longer a matter. They were forced to fight their way out, Not only she and one other member remained. A whistling sound caught her attention as she cursed, as several kunais landed in front of them. She didn't hear the sizzling sound as they exploded. But she and her friend jumped out of the way, as he was wearing a boar mask. I'll hold him off, go back to Konoha. But no! Listen to me, go, now. Both of us cannot get away, I'm better fighting than you, so go now. Warn the Hokage. The man knew better than to argue, as he took off into the trees. As they then came, she pulled her blade as she started to clash with several sound ninjas, slicing them down. As several kunais came at her, she grabbed one of the bodies and thrust it up in the air as it took all its stabs. As she leaped forward and drive her blade right through one of them's skull. She had to leap out of the way as several kunais came down on her, one of them scratching her in the arm. The moment she landed, a fist smashed right into her face, breaking her mask as she smashed into a tree trunk. She grunted as her back smashed against the trunk. She did not get a chance to recover anything as her throat was grabbed. Her head was smashed repeatedly in the back of the tree. As he then started to strangle her as blood started to drip out of her mouth. As she was wheezing out her ear but she couldn't breathe. She tried to pry his hand off but he started to smash her head once more into the tree trunk. As her head started to bleed as well. Her vision started to fade as she saw someone else coming. Silver hair with glasses. As before the darkness take over her, the last word she could mutter, Hayate. Meanwhile, at Konoha, Fu had a smile on her face. It had been a week, and she was really enjoying her stay here. Because none of the people, none of the younger generation, and she didn't really see any of the older generation glaring at her either. But they looked at her like she was a normal person, and she enjoyed that. She was currently in the forest, looking for a new type of bugs. She wasn't an Aburame user or anything, but she suspected it had something to do with the anatomy. Well, hello there, Fu said as she found an odd insect that landed on her. It looked like a beetle with twin dancers, but it was draining her of little of chakra. You know, it's not nice to drain people of their chakra, you know that? Without their permission. My apologies. Fu jumped as she spun around to see someone. He was wearing a grey suit, covering up almost all of his body, and he was wearing glasses. As the bug fly over to him. I did not mean for one of my bugs to suck your chakra. I was just trying to find out who invaded the Aburame clan forest. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Fu said. I did not realize this forest belonged to a clan. It is most alright, Shino said. I can tell that you're a foreigner, so you would not understand this. So that bug is yours, Fu asked. You walked up to Shino. Yeah, he said. What kind of insect is it? It reminds me of one of the insects I saw in Kiba no Kune, but it looks a bit different. Shino was surprised. Outside of his clan there was no one that was interested in bugs, and this made him rather happy. Meanwhile, Stanley was going through some scrolls, as she wanted to find a good mission for Naruto, because since his heritage and everything, since the Chunin exams, there have been a lot of missions requested personally for him, and there was also some disguised one, that were disguised to be missions but they were just marriage proposal. Even a woman in her late 40s wanted to marry Naruto, and the thing was, the woman was already married. As she found a good scroll, this one should do. The door then burst open. Tsunade-sama. Shizune, what's wrong? Asked Tsunade. Shizune barely catch her breath. One of her Anvu's team. Ambush. By Sound Shinobis. We receive an injured survivor. He's at the hospital right now. All this time Naruto was sitting there on the couch. As Tsunade got up and went off to the hospital. As Naruto simply followed behind her. Shizune, what happened? Whose team was ambushed? Naruto asked. Shizune looked at Naruto and wondered whether she should tell him or not. Anvus usually answer the Hokage, and things they do are rather classified. Still, Naruto is probably the third most important figure to Konoha, with only Tsunade and Jiraiya being ahead of him. One of our teams was supposed to meet with a contact in the zone, but it seemed to be a trap. The man that came back, he was the only one to escape. Whose team was ambushed? Naruto asked. It was a Nico team. Shizune saw Naruto stop, as Naruto's mind went blank at the information. That was Yujeo's squad. But guys, the end steps are right here. If you want to see more of this or know what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform, and also stay tuned for What If Naruto's also Sasuke King, guys. And I'm also going to be posting What If Naruto had divine power, so stay tuned for that as well, and I hope you guys enjoy. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.